Awesome possum. And welcome in, Jims and Jimettes, to another exciting edition of No Substitute for Sports. I'm your host, Nick Johnson. This is episode 28. And yes, we did in fact survive Barbenheimer, all the movie stars, plastic, and explosions. You would think this was the weekend at the movies, or did we do an Los Angeles simulation? You can decide. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to No Substitute for Sports on the Degenerates Network YouTube page. If you're stumbling upon us, hit that subscribe button only after you hit the like button. Maybe share us around, tell your friends, tell your family, tell anyone you know. Honestly, shout us out, shout us loud and proud. Like I said, maybe shout us out at the movie theater. Like I said, maybe make some impromptu friends. Whatever it is you may be, thank you for tuning in. Follow us on Twitter at Degenerates. I'm also going live every Friday, going on twitch.tv/SportsTownShy for No Substitute for Sports Live, cleaning up anything we don't get to, as well as some possible breaking news. Tons of stuff broke today. We'll be getting to all that. Either way, check us out anywhere and everywhere. Thank you very, very much. Plenty to talk about today. Appetizers on deck are just as juicy as the entrees today. Got the Oppenheimer review, well as some thoughts on Messi finally playing in the MLS, actually a little soccer. Yeah, now I'm calling it soccer. Deal with it. We continue with our NFL divisional preview, breaking down the NFC South. Frankly, so you don't have to. Honestly, it's pretty brutal. Big games, headlines, team totals, best bets, and tons more to preview there. So, actually something to pay attention to. I'm just knocking it because, yeah, it's the NFC. It's the NFC least of this year. NFC South. Next, thoughts on Dosunmu resigning with the Bulls, as well as Chicago, the Crosstown Classic. We'll be getting our thoughts between the White Sox and the Cubs playing today. Their second 2-game series. They're going to have another one in August, previewing the first one, obviously. Finally, thoughts on Blood and Guts and a few more wrestling notes to get to. All that, tons more in between. But before we get underway, let me introduce to you my friend and co-host, the founder and CEO of FatCat_Streams. That's with a Z. Mikey J. Fatcat, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm great. Sometimes I don't even know what to say after that great intro. I like wait the whole time, and then I'm like, fuck. I'm excited to be here. Always ready to get this started. And yeah, it was great movies this weekend, and it's a fun little weekend. I was with the family on Sunday seeing this Buddy Holly play down at the Marriott Theater.
Nice,
Uh,
nice.
it was pretty cool. We've been there a couple times before. They've done like $1 Million Quartet play there, and
Love
I'm
that play. Haven't been there in
yeah,
a minute, but I love
I'm
that
I'm
one.
a fan of stuff like that. We were in the front row, and yeah, it was awesome. It
Oh,
was
that's
great.
awesome. That is pretty cool. When you sent or you put it up on your story, I was gonna swipe up and I was just gonna send you the quotes. And I never talk. I don't know. That gave me that vibe from obviously the skit.
That would
So
have made me. Oh, I would have laughed. Oh,
damn,
I'm
I
laughing.
missed out. I missed out. I thought of it and
I'm
then I
laughing
forgot.
now. So
Yeah, no, that's good. So yeah, obviously it was good for the musical, or was it a musical or just like a little
yeah, it
play?
was. It was. It's like they do like a story and yeah, musical because
Little
they
bit of
play
din
just
din din
Buddy
din din
Holly's
din din
music
din
and
din din.
stuff.
Yeah,
Of
no,
course,
that's
there's some
sick.
asshole behind us just talk, and then right when it's the day that sadly happens. We all know what happens to Buddy Holly, but then like this guy's just behind us, like, "Yup, this is the day he dies." Like right when it's like the music, like right when it's the music goes down, we can all clearly hear him. He's just like, "Yep, this is it." I'm like, why do you have to be like that,
Bro. Come
just
on.
it's ridiculous. Me and my brother were talking about that, but
And I might be a little bit. It was a motorcycle accident, correct?
it was a plane
Oh,
crash. It
okay. I'm
was
sorry. I'm
Richie
sorry.
Valens, which is crazy. He was only 17 years old, they were
Oh, that
saying.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the
It was
Big
yeah,
Bopper.
wasn't his career or literally only like the span of like a couple months? Am I
Yeah,
wrong again?
something like that.
Yeah,
If I'm not
that's insane.
mistaken. What
That's
not
insane.
that long. But yeah, it's
Leaving your mark literally and physically. Yeah, no, that sounds like a pretty rock and roll, literally again, rock and roll little weekend there between seeing the musical, seeing the theater, and then enjoying the actual the cinema theater. We're rocking and rolling, enjoying Oppenheimer. one of the biggest weekends in cinema. I think the fourth largest. Barbenheimer, the two of them. That's what they're calling it, Barbenheimer weekend, just after the Force Awakens and the other two Avengers weekends. Huge, breaking a ton of records, but I want to get your thoughts, your initial thoughts. I usually go first on this shit, so I want to get your opinions on everything. From
Hmm.
I know that that you can to the Twitter world went crazy between all their what they thought the movie was going to be and what it actually was. So how did you enjoy Oppenheimer? Did you enjoy Oppenheimer? Dive in, give it to me, give me everything. What'd you think? We saw it and enjoyed it at pretty
Uh,
solid place. And I'll
yeah, it
just
was
say this.
awesome.
I want to say this one really quick. Seeing it in IMAX, that was my first IMAX movie, and kind of a little nostalgic in the sense that we were so close. Now every movie theater is just the lounge seats and you're nice and far.
Yeah, the older seats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was a like I said, it was I enjoyed it somewhat just because it gave me the old timey feel, like, oh, we're all hunkered down together watching this movie. And it was also annoying because everyone was just so close and was like, hey, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me. It's just like,
Mm.
Jesus. So yeah, no, that was my only initial thoughts. Give it to me straight. Oppenheimer. What'd you think?
All right. Don't let this pink shirt fool you. I didn't see Barbie this weekend. I saw Oppenheimer, and I mean, I guess I'm gonna go with what everyone else is saying because I completely agree. It's probably a 10 out of 10, and Christopher Nolan is definitely gonna win his first Best Director at the Oscars. Give it to them. I love the nonlinear story that Christopher Nolan's always usually tells with his movies, and the way just the beginning, middle, and end. If you put it all together after days. I've been able to think about it, so you're able to. And I gotta see it again to be honest. It was a long movie, but I like that all those scenes that they all play together, and Cillian Murphy was great as Oppenheimer. It was a great story that, like, the way that he was started off as a young, like he was excited about doing what he was doing, and then like just near the end, he's just like defeated and after what he's done, because I mean it's obviously very tragic and a lot of things to deal with there, but the like obviously everything, like the cinematography, and they had great actors and actresses in this movie from front. Like I feel like everybody had a great performance from like just Cillian Murphy was in the movie the majority of the time to Rami Malek, who was in the movie for like 5 minutes, and even he was great. And
They tricked
there's
us with Josh Peck. He was in there for maybe 45 seconds. And all those that I know that 0.1% Drake and Josh Hardo that only went to go see that movie for Josh Peck was probably disappointed. He played a kind of a big role. He hit the button.
he hit the button.
he
Yeah,
hit
that's
that. He hit it.
and obviously there's already memes like I didn't remember this scene in Oppenheimer, and it was like the Drake and Josh cuts like it's like just like his
I
butt,
was thinking
like
about
his
that
hand
too.
above
I
the
was thinking about
button.
Megan walking in. He's like, "What are you boobs doing?" And they're just about to hit the bomb. They're about to do the explosion.
Yeah, it's the first thing I thought about when I saw Josh Peck. Literally, I was like just thinking Megan, like just something where he's like, "Why's the atomic bomb going off, Josh?" Like Megan. So
Oh
yeah,
god.
he was not in the movie for long, but memorable just from what we remember him from in the past. But yeah, it was everything was great. Like even Matt Damon's great as the sergeant. I forget their name. Leslie Grove, I think, was his name, the actual person, and Emily Blunt was great as his wife, Killian Murphy, and Robert Downey Jr. was great as Strauss, the like corrupt politician, and it
Yeah,
was
head
just
of like
all
he was the head of the energy commission or something like that. It was
yes.
some really long title. So yeah.
But yeah, I was invested for the whole 3 hours, which it's hard to do when it's a movie that's literally all talking and dialogue for most of the time. Honestly, there's not a lot of action in it, which I could talk about the main action, which was the Trinity test scene, which was amazing. I mean, it was so like I've never just sitting in my seat just because you're just expecting something to happen the whole time. I remember like my heart was racing. I was like, like it was just so the way they filmed and everything, and the score by Ludwig Göransson in the background, the whole movie, like literally everything I was great. And the way that the bomb goes off and it's just complete silence and nobody in our theater said a word. Like it was awesome. You
Yeah,
could hear a
yeah,
pin
yeah,
drop
that was
in
pretty
there.
cool.
And it was like quiet for a whole minute until the actual explosion went off. And
I
that
jumped.
was yeah,
I
that
knew it
was
was coming.
awesome.
I still like,
He
oh, this is
pushes you back
loud. I
in
mean, we're
your
in the
seat.
IMAX. That thing's
Yeah.
loud. That
Like
was
piggybacking off what you were saying, that was my first IMAX movie, and it was crazy the way when they was like when he pumps the sound up and the bombs going off, and there's like just from people stomping on bleachers and stuff like that. Like I'm like, it
yeah.
is loud as fucking
At
here right
first, I
now.
was like, "Am I only gonna hear communist yell? Is that the only point of this IMAX right now?" But no, obviously, it comes in way later. And yeah, that bleacher scene. I mean, full on spoiler alert at this point if you're not already invested. That bleacher scene when he like his conscience is coming in, he's giving that hoorah speech. Hey, we did it. We took care of the war. We did everything. They had just dropped both atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and he, like I said, his conscience is coming in, so he can't hear the crowd. We don't hear the crowd, but we hear all the banging and all the noise, and then he sees the dead body. Like that has to be the best scene. It had to be the best. At
Yeah,
least
that
for me,
was
that was probably
great.
the best scene that entire time. And just that whole idea, it later comes on in different points. That like his conscience is setting in, and all you hear is like the background bass and noise, and like the lights are coming in. And I gotta actually, I'm gonna share with you a couple Instagram pages you should probably follow afterward.
Hmm.
I don't have them listed in front of me right now, but they did like they showed you like the behind the scenes of like how they showed the light coming down and everything in that scene. It's oh yeah, like you said, the cinematography and everything was wow, it was perfect at this point. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that bleacher scene. It's like, I mean, it's like can clearly tell that he's just trying to be happy about it, but he's actually like, this is fucked up.
yeah, no,
And
this
it's like,
that's when it fully settles in. The full idea, like the idea that I mean, the whole like the Prometheus metaphor that they were trying to push the entire time, that he's bringing fire down to Earth and he's bringing all this madness and power to humanity, and now at the press of a button, we could destroy humanity. In that sense, that was the whole, yeah, exactly at the point of
yeah, and I guess
the film.
I could just wrap up up with that after saying the last scene with him and Albert Einstein, which they have a scene earlier, like way early in the movie, where they're just talking about the making the bomb and stuff, and there's like someone's very worried that if they set the bomb off, it can like light the air on fire and literally destroy the world. So he was just asking Albert Einstein about that, and it ends with like, I guess I forgot one scene very near the beginning of the movie. Also, you see like a scene with Oppenheimer and Albert Einstein near like the lake, with Strauss's point of view, but you don't see what they said to each other.
Yeah,
And it just seems like Strauss thinks that he just didn't like him or something, and then you actually see what they said at the end of the movie, and it's like the whole culmination of him being like, I think that we did start like a chain reaction, and it showed like shots of a bunch of bombs going off and like the world destroying. So it's very like chilling. I feel like it was a perfect way to end it. Like again, the non-linear story, we're able to end it with just like a normal scene like that, but the
yeah,
way it all comes together, it was perfect. It was a
yeah.
very good story. And I mean, yeah, I give Christopher Nolan his props, and they'll definitely win a like best score, best director. People will win best actor and supporting
I think that
actor
Matt Damon,
actresses.
I can start off with that. Just like Matt Damon, completely wrong on what Matt Damon was going to do. He brought a lot to this movie when he came in. That scene where he kind of sets Oppenheimer straight on everything. Like, hey, you're a bit of a douchebag. I did all the background and the best thing said about you or the worst thing said about you is like he couldn't run a hot dog stand or something like that, or
Yeah,
he couldn't run a sandwich shop.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get that idea that his character, or he's a womanizer in that sense, and I just thought it was funny that he only he only really gets sad and cries when his ex-girlfriend dies, but then doesn't really shed a tear when he kills 100,000 Japanese people in the bombings. But that's neither here nor there in that sort of sense. I mean, yeah, from beginning to end. I'm sorry, you
No,
weren't
I'm
you weren't
I'm
read.
trying to think if there's anything else, but yeah, I mean that's really I thought it was great and give it 10 out of 10. And the only other thing was the interrogation. All the
Oh
interrogation
yeah,
scenes were great because whoever played the attorney or the prosecutor or the fuck he was great. So
I
even
feel
he
like
was
I've
an
seen him
asshole.
yeah, he's been a dick in some other movies. I feel like he's definitely played that character before.
Yeah, so again, everyone that got their time to be on the movie, like there was no one where I was like, that guy was shitty. Like that was a shitty performance, or like,
No.
there's usually somewhere like that guy was a horrible actor, there's something like, but like this was it's like literally just perfect. Like I honestly don't I can't complain about anything unless people if you complain about the runtime, then I don't know, maybe you just don't have any patience.
Yeah, a lot of people were that was exactly that they think the whole kangaroo court part, the whole third half of it could have been the whole third of it, the C-SPAN esque, or just the all the interviews and politician part. They thought that could have all been cut. But no, I'm on your side where that needed to be a part of it, because that's where it all came intertwined. That at the beginning, you kind of exactly that at the very beginning when Oppenheimer talks to Albert Einstein, and we don't know the context of it until the very end. You're like, well, Oppenheimer, he must have said something to make Albert Einstein upset and to not say anything in reply. So everything comes full circle. You need to understand that, because at the very end, like, everyone's just screwing everybody and no one is really likable. So you can be on the side of, oh, Oppenheimer, should this movie even be made about him? Because is he a hero for making this bomb, or is he this big killer for doing exactly that? They used his invention to kill people. But then you're like,
Hmm.
oh, flip it to, well, he made it, but he never had control of what it was going to end up doing at the end. It's a push and pull of all sorts of things. And I was on the side of, like I said, kind of a dick in the sense that, like, went around, he cheated on his wife, he banged that other dude's wife, and he didn't know. And then I love that one piece of dialogue. I don't know if you caught it. He goes, died of a broken heart. He didn't even know it was happening. Uh, so yeah, it was a bunch of
Yeah,
shit like
that
that.
part I don't know why he was having an affair, or it's like I don't know that was yeah, that was ridiculous. But
Yeah, so a lot of things like
I'm
that.
leaning on the other side where I don't know. I feel like he got fucked over. I feel
Oh,
like
he definitely
it's
did.
not
He
his
definitely
fault.
did.
Like they told him to make this. He's just doing what he was told, and then they
The
fucked up.
Nazis were told to do what they were told. No, that's always the thing. I'm sorry. Uh,
I don't know. That was the side that I was on.
no, no,
I
that's
feel
exactly.
like he got punished for the mistakes that they made. Like I don't know.
No, and yeah, that was also a thing too. Is that whatever that communist lady said at the very earlier part? She was like, don't burn bridge. A lot of people said that too. Like, don't burn bridges. Like, keep your options open, because people like that. The very small comment that Oppenheimer made in the court is kind of what triggered this whole thing. Him saying that joke, and I don't know. There was a bunch like you said, a bunch of court scenes, and then whenever an Oppenheimer makes fun of Strauss or says that little joke, and that's basically what ends up sparking it. And yeah, like I said, I got a couple notes written down. I did like the score and everything like that. At sometimes, maybe it was just the IMAX and the extra rumbling and the extra bass. I feel like I couldn't hear some things, some parts of the dialogue. But again, my hearing's a little fucked up too as well. So like I said, if you weren't paying attention, you probably missed a lot. So be prepared for that. Actually, like I said, if you're already going to a 3 hour movie, you should be, you know, basically ready and engaged. And shout out to us. None of us took a pee break. We were all ready. So there
I
you
was
go.
ready.
Squad was rolling in deep.
There was like 8 of us.
Yeah. Let's see. I just thought it was also, again, spoiler, funny he got cock blocked by the books. Like she just gets up mid bone and just starts looking at his Freud books and shit like that and all his psychology stuff. And then that's where he points out the start speaking to me in Yiddish. I'm like, oh my god, what? This broad's crazy. So I mean, just like I said, many fun little parts.
Yeah, and there's the one scene that I just quick mentioned, like when she dies, which
Yeah.
again, we're just spoilers. So there's one scene, there's like a quick scene where there's like a hand drowning her, and
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, is that supposed to like, is that supposed to mean like someone killed her, or he's like thinking he did it? Like, I feel like that
Yeah,
was
I
like a
think
shot at
yeah.
maybe like she got
I
set
felt like I
up or
did see that
something.
too.
Like,
And
I don't
again,
know.
being a little out of it, I was just like,
I was like, was
oh,
that
did
a
that happen?
hand? Yeah, I was like, what
Is that
was
somebody
that?
else in there? Oh, geez.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
glad
it's
I'm
that.
not the only one that
No, yeah,
saw
it's
that.
definitely worth a rewatch, like you said. Let me see other things. I love when they were choosing where to drop the bomb. The one guy was like, don't go to this spot. This is where we took our honeymoon, and so it's just like throwing in the big wig shit and stuff.
Yeah, he was like, we can't bomb Kyoto. It's very nice there. And he's like, we also vacation there. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
just small stuff like that. What else made me laugh out loud? Fun. The Truman scene when he could get this crybaby out of my
Yeah,
place. And
I heard you laughing.
I
So,
loved that part because that was the whole thing about his character, that he was just so naive and just so like egotistical to the sense like he felt this was all about him. And to a sense it was. Obviously he created this bomb, but everyone else took the heat. Like he's remembered for creating the bomb and doesn't really get the flack for it. Like, Truman gets he dropped the bomb. He made the decision to do this. He did this. He did that. I guess in the whole sense, in the whole background, like I said, maybe I'm watching too much Succession right now. People controlling the media and controlling how the winds and turbines go and stuff like that. Uh, that was exactly that part where I laughed because he recognizes the situation, and still after all this, Oppenheimer didn't see past his own ego, that it was like it wasn't about him. He's like, I feel like there's blood on my hands. It's like, you know what, dude? This isn't about you. This ain't your episode or something like that. Even though it's his movie, but like this whole, at the end of the day, the end of the storyline, the World War II, it's not going to be about just him. It's going to be about a bunch of stuff that led up to that. So I thought that's why it was not all. I didn't recognize all that in like the 4 seconds, but I laughed at that because, like I said, exactly that. Just his whole ego was all about him, all about him, all about him at all times. At least in my mind, to this.
yeah.
So that's why I said like he was unlikable to a degree, but yes, I can recognize that he got screwed. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone got screwed in this sense. So yeah, this was a lot of fun. A lot of this. Let me see. The assembly scene was probably the best part. The anxiety and the silence that all came into, and like almost a trance like state where you heard everything and you heard nothing at the same time. And I don't know,
Yeah, I
just
liked
because.
how the sound kept cutting just in and completely out, and then it would just jump back in. Like, I liked that.
Yeah. And then yeah, maybe for those complaining, not enough action. Clearly, like you didn't get the memo. This was gonna be like one explosion. Like you're gonna get your money. Maybe hopefully you got your money's worth and through the IMAX part. But yeah, there's tons of great things. Like basically it broke down into first part, first third background and setting up everyone's character and who everyone was. Second part was building and testing the bomb, and then third part was this kangaroo court where everyone more or less got their payback, or whoever got screwed got recognized and got called out. So hopefully that was, maybe that might be the Cliff Notes version of it for anyone who just needed that. Let me think really quick. Yeah, like I said, I was completely wrong on Matt Damon. I thought he was going to take away a lot of this and maybe overact, but I would argue that of anybody, he probably deserves, best supporting actor when it comes to the Oscars this year. He should end up winning that for that role. He came in, took control of it, and completely changed the pace of the entire movie for me in that sense, where I like I said, he was the first one to kind of just call out Oppenheimer to his face that like, hey, you're a bit of a dick. You gotta chill out. So yeah, and that whole idea of like him being connected to the Communist Party, that all intertwined.
Yeah.
So again, anyone saying it goes on too long, everything more or less makes sense. There isn't really a scene. Maybe the scene where they're doing the interview and the wife is in the back and is in the background in the back spot, and she's imagining the girl on
Yeah,
top of him.
that was a little ridiculous.
That was out there. That was pretty wild and crazy. And like I said, I was kind of taken back. I'm like, why was she even there? Why was she didn't she they were talking he was talking about himself. They didn't need her until later on for her own interview. So and that was a great scene too, when she came in and just absolutely body slammed the lawyer or whoever it was, because no, it wasn't a trial. It wasn't a trial. They made that especially clear in both of those scenes. So yeah, I got never love it, hate it. It was great. I would still take wouldn't take away from it. Absolutely, still 10 out of 10. There's little things to nick and pick at, but overall, like it's gonna be the best like original story this year. It's gonna kill it at the Oscars this year for sure.
Hmm.
Any final thoughts wrapping it up on Oppenheimer before we get to some more appetizers or our
Christopher
final?
Nolan's never won a Best Director Oscar, so this is
Mm,
his year
this is the
finally.
chance. This is the chance. Well, I wish I could tell you we were leaving the movie theater, Mike, but I got something. I got a surprise.
What?
I went and saw the Barbie movie the day after
No.
Oppenheimer. Got the gal, and we ran over. We saw the Barbie movie. I want to give you my
Fuck.
quick thoughts on it. Quick little 2-minute review. I'll call it 2 minutes, but we're gonna go a little bit past that.
I should have got a Barbie background, damn
No, I
it.
wanted to, I wanted to lay this on you nice and special. I didn't want you to know that we saw this. Uh Barbie movie review. It was fun. It was silly. It was I again wrong on the Matt Damon part. I'll eat my words again. I was wrong on this Barbie movie. It's
No.
not going to win awards. It's not going to, no one's going to give best this and best picture and best director and best actor. It was fun to watch. It's very silly. I mean, I'm just thinking about it right now. Like Will Ferrell's character made me laugh multiple times. He was almost back to his silly kicking and screaming type character. Um, yeah, I mean, even all this, them acting like toys in the beginning made me giggle so goddamn hard because they were just taking plat. I mean, like you're not gonna go see it, are
I'll
you?
see it.
You're gonna go see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
just like
want
the
to.
the opening. Honestly, Mike, it's worth it. Give it a watch. You don't have to go spend your money, go crazy. But when it comes out on streaming, it's worth a watch. It is actually pretty funny. Uh, the adult jokes are there. There are plenty, bountiful, actually a lot more than there probably should be. So it's adult jokes with a kid's storyline. Like I said, it gets really goofy and silly. You're in Los Angeles and then you're in Barbie world, and then they have a fun transition of how to get there every time. Again, you just go along with it. Just have fun. It was one of the I haven't had that honestly, haven't had that much fun in a theater in a very long time. And maybe it was a mixture of, like I said, the nostalgia feel of the very day prior we saw Oppenheimer in that kind of cramped up sardine section IMAX theater. I was just, maybe a little bit high off the popcorn. Maybe they put something in that popcorn. Maybe you want to go back to a theater. But the very next day, like I said, went and saw Barbie. So I completed the Barbenheimer weekend exactly. They throw
Wow.
in again. They'll say it's the story again. No one's gonna win awards. The storyline was ridiculous. They throw in the empowering statements that more or less might be overlooked because they're kind of it isn't anything new. I don't want to be misogynistic or anything, but it's just like women can do this, women are do that, women can do this. But they're expected to do this, but then they're expected to do that while also maintaining this and also doing that. I see the movie to actually hear that. It was a very nice speech, a very good movie all the way around. And like I said, Michael Cera playing Alan, it's just in the name. The unfortunate events that Alan goes through, the different Kens. Like I said, it's fun because they're all toys, and then they're in this make believe world. Simple story, bright visuals. Like I said, Will Ferrell's back to being good, ridiculous. It just seemed like everyone had fun and not impromptu talking, but feels like it was a really loose set. So like everyone was just had fun. Like I said, the sets were nice, bright, colorful, looked fun. For what it's worth, it was a good movie. I take back, being so hard to, I'm not gonna go, Barbie, it's stupid. The movie, yes, it was ridiculous, but it was fun, ridiculous. And, there was some weird parts. Like I said, there's a weird little compilation of a bunch of, like everyday normal people. But then again, that kind of plays into the storyline if you want to spin zone it that way. Not going to recommend it to everybody, but if you want to have the time, take a couple minutes, watch it. It's worth it's fun. Like I said, made the gal happy. It was actually fun and made me laugh every now and again. So it was a lot of fun. So there you go. Barbie movie review somewhat without going too deep. Oh, last thing on that. The way teenagers are portrayed in this movie and just about every movie nowadays is so off. Like they don't talk as woke as they do in these movies. It's kind of insane. Like she corrected herself multiple times. She said like she's a nutcase. Oh wait, that's mentally impartial of the reality around us. I'm like, wait, what are they even talking about? Just like, just something ridiculous. Just like teenagers still don't talk like that. They still say stupid shit. So they're not as woke and as smart as Hollywood seems to make them be. So that's the only thing I'll try and say on that. Any thoughts, any predictions, anything on this Barbie movie?
It's gonna win a lot of awards.
What?
Right?
It's not gonna win. It'll win like MTV Movie Awards. It'll be Teen Choice. It's gonna go crazy at the Teen Choice Awards. It's not gonna. Some people can maybe win something.
I bet it's really fun. That's what I was thinking. It's probably just funny and fun. I haven't known a bunch of people that say it's just like fun and it's exactly like you were saying. So I definitely got to check it out sometime.
It's if you want to just put a movie. It's honestly it's gonna be a good background movie. Honestly, we're just having like I don't know, people do that. They just throw on movies to earn on at parties. Be like, hey, sit around and watch fucking Barbie or some shit. It's honestly, it's fine. It'll hit all the demos. It hit all the marks. Why not? It was funny. It had its moments.
John Cena was in it, right?
He was in it and didn't play a big part other than just a quick little cameo. He's in there. Just stay making movies. You don't need to be in the wrestling business no more. Honestly,
no.
You don't need to be wrestling.
Yeah,
keep your 5 moves of doom on the screen and not.
He's probably. No, I was gonna say he's probably the best actor, but Batista is probably the best one.
Oh yeah, you don't think The Rock?
No. What? Are you serious?
The best wrestling actor?
Yeah.
The best wrestler.
Do you think The Rock is actually a good actor?
I mean, yeah, he's not winning awards or nothing either. Yeah, I guess I'll give it to Batista because
I feel like Batista's the one that's done the most like different roles.
Yeah,
like he's like The Rock does the same thing
yeah, that's true.
Every movie, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. Maybe say him. Maybe Rowdy Piper.
Oh my god,
Rowdy Piper
have you seen that movie?
Like, is it called They Kill or something like that? They Live?
Yeah, I've watched the Dead Meat. Shout out to them before they reviewed it, and it's all free on YouTube.
Oh wow,
it is horrible. Like and
he's got his part in an Always Sunny episode as well, so I like that.
Shout out Rowdy Piper, man.
Rowdy Piper. I think it's Ric Flair's in those insurance commercials, if you want to count that.
And the Miz and the Marine, or John Cena and the Marine
7, yeah, Randy Orton in the Marine.
Ziggler. They were all.
I think Dolph Ziggler's in the Marine somehow.
Oh, we can go on the Chaperone, maybe.
Oh my god, Paul White in Knucklehead is probably one of my top. Put is up there. I'm a knucklehead. Like, what? No, between I haven't seen the Chaperone, but just in the trailer, he goes, "I'm the Chaperone." I'm like, I'm out. I'm not that big of shit. CM Punk might be the worst actor. I don't know.
Oh,
I haven't seen Heels or that motorcycle show he's in, but I think I kind of halfway saw that horror movie he's in on Netflix.
it
Not
was
that good.
not good.
Yeah, he can stay in the ring. Stay making keep doing wrestling matches.
That might be why he came back, because
There you go. That's still gonna pay the bills. Speaking of paying the bills, we got some people making some money on the soccer side of things. Soccer? Oh, you're talking about soccer? Take your crazy pills. No, no, no. We're talking soccer for a quick second over here. Because I thought it was absolutely bonkers. I even to the point where I threw it up in our group chats. That Messi, he made his debut the week after, or the couple days after the All-Star game, had 2 goals and they won the game. Correct on that one?
he had 1 goal.
Okay. All right. There you go. At least I was halfway right.
Which, just a quick side story before you get started.
No, go ahead.
I bet on Messi to score on his very first game, and we were watching Oppenheimer during the game, so I had no clue like how the game went. I just saw that he scored. So I messaged the gambling chat that I'm in, and just like, that was so easy. Messi scores. Messi didn't start. He was a bench player that game, and he scored in the 94th minute on a free kick, literally
my
the
God.
last second of the game to
Oh my
win the game
God.
for them. So
That's insane.
it was not easy. I just wanted if I was actually watching that, I would have been stressed the fuck out.
For a whole 96 minutes plus. Oh man,
But
that's
yeah,
absolutely hilarious.
go ahead on Klesi.
There you go. So absolutely, he's going ahead. He beat essentially game winner, if I'm not mistaken. Now that makes it a little bit better instead of just 2 goals. Game winner for his Miami squad, MLS squad, but did not play in the All-Star game. And I threw it out there. I'm just like, simply put, why not? Why not let him play? I know he didn't play at they had this whole deal set at the beginning of the season, but he's going to come in after the All-Star break, I suppose. But my goodness, it's sold out. Why not let him be there? Couple arguments made here and there about, you know, uh, I'll leave it nameless, but our buddy Allen said that we should they shouldn't play because the other players deserve to play, or they've been there all season. Fuck him. It's Messi. He's the name. He's paying your bills. He's the one that's drawing everybody in. So I thought it was absolutely bonkos. The MLS has a really large opportunity to bring, soccer to the United States and bring a star. They've had David Beckham, I suppose, back in the day, but still in that sense, he wasn't.
We had Ibrahimovic for a little bit in LA, but he wasn't here for long. He was here for a couple years, like won 2 championships, cooked everybody, and then just left.
Exactly. They have an opportunity to bring up viewership and just, I guess, even more the popularity, but just especially in the States. So I kind of just want to bring up that whole idea of was it a missed opportunity right there, or were there still bountiful opportunities afterward for Messi to be, showcased and be on the front page, be on the front lines and all that stuff? Because like I said, in my mind, it was stupid to not have him play. Again, maybe in the sense he could have gotten hurt in the All-Star game, or he can get hurt at any point in time in this sense. I don't know, but he's going to cook everybody up. This is going to be. I made the comparison. It was like putting Mike Trout almost. Is it like putting Mike Trout in a Savannah Bananas game? I feel like that's a correct comparison.
Yeah, basically.
Just like I don't know, like a Schaumburg
That's
Bombers or a Chicago Dogs
yeah, it's
game.
basically like Mike Trout playing in like a AA game or AAA game. It's like
I feel exactly that way. It's just he's playing way beneath his talent level. He's, like I said, almost a man amongst boys in this sense. So missed opportunity in your thoughts, or just your overall thoughts on him not being in the All-Star game, just him coming to the States now. What are you feeling on Messi in Miami?
Oh, I mean, it's him in Miami is gonna be so cool. I mean, I've been a soccer football fan. I mean, I really only watched the World Cup. So like when the World Cup has happened the past, every 4 years, I've watched those both times. Those have been cool. I don't really, keep up with soccer, but I played FIFA in the past, so I do know certain players and shit just from that. But he's going to be awesome. He's one of the best players. He is the best player in the world in soccer. So he's
Or is it
going.
Mbappe, who was just offered $776 million for a year, 1 year by the Saudis? Is he the best, or is Messi still the best?
Messi. And they probably would have offered that to Messi too if he wanted blood money.
And he would have gotten away with it
And
too
they
if it
said
wasn't for that blood money.
Mbappe isn't considering this deal. Yes,
He's
he
considering it.
is.
He would
That's
consider it for sure. That's crazy.
$22 a minute, right?
I
That's
think
what you
that's
were
what it
saying.
came out to. That's the quick math that I heard really quick. It would have been $22 a minute if he accepted that. That's
Just blood
insane.
money in his pocket for standing around.
Cha-ching.
So that will be up to Mbappe, but who won the World Cup, huh? Was it Argentina or France? Yeah, France got cooked as Messi is better. Messi's the GOAT. He's the best. Ronaldo's nothing. Messi's the
Whoa.
GOAT. I don't give a damn.
I have no argument.
He's gonna be great. They're going to be so good. They're gonna win. Depending on how long he's there for, they're gonna win a shitload. And if you're a season ticket holder, like good, well, you're welcome. Like that's crazy. You could sell that probably for so much. And I saw just the first game that he was in. He was coming off the bench, and it was like $456. It went from $24 before he was on the team to $426.
Oh
So
my God. Yeah, I
that
heard some pretty sky even for the Chicago Sky game, or excuse me, the Fire games. Those skyrocketed as well. Completely sold out already. So good luck. You're probably gonna get
yeah,
resold exactly for like 500 a ticket, and you're gonna be sitting in the nosebleeds of the SeatGeek Arena or Stadium. SeatGeek Arena. I don't know. Either don't
it's
matter.
crazy.
Yeah.
It just shows how big of a superstar he is.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
And
So
there's
like,
other people that I've seen because I just from what I was saying, I know like a bunch of these different players that he's played with before in the past. Like there's this player Sergio Ramos that apparently wants to play with them, and there's another player like Luis Suarez that wants to play with them. So they're just gonna like make a super team in Miami
oh
and
my
just
God.
like absolutely cook everybody.
That would be funny to watch. Just get to the highlights and just maybe bet on that if you could. That'd just be an
Yeah, like
easy
I want to
parlay.
bet on them to win the championship because they're winning.
Yeah, you throw them in an easy parlay for like a championship parlay and get bet on the Super Bowl winner, the World Series winner, and then the MLS championship. Get some plus money. Oh man.
Hell yeah. Messi's going to bring a lot of attention to football, soccer in the US of A.
Yeah. I think it'll still be football. American football will stay number one in
Yeah,
America.
yeah.
And then it'll be quite a minute before it gets caught up between, I mean, I don't know what would be number two, maybe baseball and then basketball or basketball, baseball, depending on who you're talking to. It might be a close second sometime soon. A lot of people are thinking and predicting on that one. So we'll keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully, just not in my lifetime. I couldn't. I don't care.
Hmm.
Let's see. Are you good on the Messi? And like I said, I threw in that little Mbappe offer just on there really quick. That's
Yeah.
again bonkos.
That's insane. That's
Absolutely.
just absolutely insane.
That seems to be the appetizers. If you're good on that, we can head into the NFL, continuing underway with our NFL divisional preview. We got the NFC South. We're hitting the headlines, questions of the year, all talking about the Falcons, Panthers, Saints, and Buccaneers. I also got, their ad drops. Got some notable games, MVP odds, team total wins over under division. We'll see the division winner odds as well as predicted who we think is going to win, who you should maybe throw some money on. Got some other interesting props as well. And if we got some time, we also got some other football news to get to. Everyone just about reported for camp today. A couple of nays, couple of yays. Saquon said yay, Josh Jacobs said nay, but more on that later. because we got like I just said, NFC South preview, and then we'll go ahead spin the wheel. We'll decide what division is next for next week. But here we are, NFC South, Buccaneers, Panthers, Saints, Falcons. I would go over what happened last week, what happened last season for them, but honestly, pretty brutal. 9-8 is what it took. Only 9-8 is what it took for them to be a division winner. It was kind of simply charity handed to the Buccaneers because they just limped into the playoffs with Tom Brady on his last legs. Was it 9-8 or 9-7? Either way. Pretty brutal season all the way around for this NFC South. I'll bring up to you what I thought were some headlines and questions of the year. You can go ahead and just maybe answer a few, and we can just go ahead and piggyback back and forth on some of those. Like I said, and then I'll go ahead and talk about some notable games before we talk about some ad drops and shit like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right, cool. So we got the Bucs. I simply have how many games before Kyle Trask replaces Baker Mayfield? That was one of the big acquisitions on the name. Baker Mayfield being added to the squad as well as John Wolford. But only a matter of time, I feel, before rookie Kyle Trask makes his way to the starting position, either between them wanting to integrate him early or just poor performance from Baker Mayfield. Is it a matter of time?
They're gonna have to be really bad for him to start because I feel like Baker Mayfield has the experience and he might no. I
He
can't
might have
even.
enough fuel in the tank to get him a few wins this season, but
If
spoiler
they
alert, I don't think they're gonna get their win total this year. So we'll get to that again. We'll get to that later.
if they start off like 0-4,
Which is very possible. I'm gonna while you're talking, I'm gonna try and bring up all the schedules.
then I mean that's not good. And if it's mostly Baker Mayfield's fault, then there might be reason to look into it. But yeah, I don't know when you like as a coach. I don't know when's a good time to pull the trigger. Like, because
It would have to be a
you can't
time.
wait too late or else you're fucked. And you can't. I mean, I don't know, 4 games is too early, but
I'm looking at the schedule. You can tell me when their first win is gonna come. You tell me. Week 1 against the Vikings.
no,
Week 2 at home against the Bears. The Bears have been pretty
no,
good against the Bucks.
no. I'm a Packer fan, but no,
Okay, fair enough. Week 3 against the Eagles.
no.
Week 4, week 4 on the road against the Saints, divisional opponent.
See, that might be a toss up there.
That's a toss up, but however, the New Orleans Saints are favored by 5. That's just where their head's at.
I don't.
Realistically, I'm looking at it. I'm looking from at least from what I see, the odds don't have the Buccaneers favored. Not even past. Yeah, not even in the Houston game. They still have Houston favored because they have one. They're at Houston. But I think that's probably when they end up getting their first win because it'll be Vikings, Bears, Eagles, Saints, Lions, Falcons, Bills, and then the
Oh,
Texans. So
oh
I don't
my
think
goodness.
it's kind of a toss up when you get these divisional matchups, especially when the Bucks are at home against the Falcons. But they're still giving the Falcons are still favored odds wise, and I think the Falcons are still a better squad. I think the Buccaneers are going to be in the basement. They're going to be pretty bad for a while, and it might not be Baker's fault entirely, but if you're going to have still Chris Godwin, Mike
Mike
Evans,
Evans.
and Rashad White as your squad, and then a couple other
Is
wide
Leonard
receivers filling.
Fournette still there?
Leonard Fournette was officially released. That was
Wow.
him and Cameron Brate. That's
So
on my
who's even the running back now?
Rashad White.
Oh,
Rashad
okay.
White is
Okay.
there. Let me see.
He still got some decent
And
receivers.
they also have Chase Edmonds. They added Chase Edmonds at the running back position as well.
Okay.
And then a personal favorite of mine, kicker Rodrigo Blankenship.
Oh,
There you
he's gonna
go.
bring a lot of fight to that team.
He's
He's
gonna
gonna
bring
get
the
his leg
Legos.
ready. Yeah, he's gonna be kicking a lot.
There you go.
Hopefully,
Hopefully.
they might not even get into field goal range. So
It's possible. So yeah, that was my question essentially. Just how long before Kyle Trask replaces Baker Mayfield, if that even happens?
well, it sounds after that record, if they keep losing, it might happen pretty
Yeah.
early. It might not
Does
even be Baker's fault.
That's true. That's true. It just depends on, maybe the home field advantage can come into play. Maybe that Florida
There's
heat.
definitely going to be those games. It's just
Oh,
how the
without a doubt.
NFL is,
Yeah.
and it's going to ruin my parlay. And
Yes, without a doubt that'll happen. Uh let me see. Yeah, on the maybe on if you're good on that, we can move on to the Panthers. Maybe their headline that I honestly I was able to integrate some ad drops in there as well. Uh,
Hmm,
is Bryce Young the real deal? Is he worth the
that's the
first
question.
overall pick? That will be, of course, the question. Essentially, I mean exactly that. Will he live up to the hype? I think he is. I'm pretty sure he's QB1. He's announced as QB1.
He
He
is.
can. Will he be the real deal? The schedule's somewhat favorable. There's a lot of toss-up games, but not a lot, nothing in the sense that like, oh, they're gonna be crazy. They're gonna win this automatically, but they're definitely gonna improve. They added Miles Sanders, also adding Adam Thielen. Again, nothing jumps out at you as like too crazy, but Miles Sanders is a pretty solid add, pretty solid get to replace. Not going to completely replace Christian McCaffrey from some odd years ago, but
No.
definitely better in my mind than Chuba Hubbard. So that helps you in a little
Adam
bit.
Thielen's a decent. He's a good
He gets
receiver to
open.
have.
He gets
Yeah.
open. So that's a pretty solid weapon to give to a rookie quarterback. Again, if you want to give him some sort of confidence, and Adam Thielen, pretty solid red zone target. If he can stay healthy, you can maybe see some old school Adam Thielen. I guess maybe from Adam Thielen from a couple years ago. Uh, and that they'll get a revenge game in week 4. Adam Thielen will playing the Vikings at home. Like I said,
Wow.
some notable games. The schedule is looking pretty okay for the Panthers, and we'll get to that. Like I said, the Saints coming up. I have simply Derek Carr. Really, Derek Carr.
Hmm.
Will he be enough? Will be able to turn this ship around? Because in
He's
my mind,
gotta be.
the Saints don't really have an identity in my mind. And also something else that will come into play. How will this Alvin Kamara situation shape out? I know a ton of legality, ton of legal things to go into. Will it be a suspension? Will the hammer come down? Will he play at all this season? It will depend. We'll just have to see how that goes. Uh,
Honestly, if he doesn't play at all, Jamal Williams isn't the worst running back to have. So
no,
that's
he's
just
not.
my. I don't. He was pretty good on the Lions, and as a Packer fan, he was on the Packers for a decent amount of time, and I always liked him and Aaron Jones.
The
So
heart is there. The heart is there. He's a good locker room guy for
yeah, like if
sure.
he has to be the starter, like it's not like the worst thing
No,
in the
not
world.
at all. Not at all. Like I said, yeah, the Saints, they're actually the favorite to win the division. They are the favorite. They have the most projected wins in the win total. I personally don't see it, but of course, I've been wrong plenty of times when it comes to stuff like this. They could be just giving them the leg up, because I suppose Derek Carr might be the best. He is of course, the most experienced, maybe in this sense, maybe just a little bit over Baker Mayfield, for sure over Bryce Young, and then of course over I think Ritter,
Yeah,
like
Desmond Ritter.
Desmond
Yeah.
Ritter is going to be given the go, replacing Marcus Mariota. But yeah, I guess that's a good transition into the Falcons, I suppose. Can they silence the doubters that reacted the way that they did when they drafted Bijan Robinson? So more or less another way of saying, will Bijan Robinson will he live up to the hype that it is? This is a very young squad in the Falcons. So really, any of them, between Drake London having a good sophomore season, Desmond Ritter being able to actually show his like a full season of Desmond Ritter. Can Kelvin is it Kelvin? No, my goodness. The tight end. Why can't I think of his name right now? Uh,
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. He can have another opportunity at something. Young squad. A lot of things going on, and of course, I guess the old head is still Cordell Patterson, but of course, Bijan Robinson taking a little bit of his spot right there. Um, I think they're second or third in the odds. Second at like plus 210. But
I believe
not
so.
not the worst decision if you want a little bit of plus money. Like I said, we'll get to that. If I didn't get to those ad drops while I was talking about that, like I said, the Bucks released Leonard Fournette and Cameron Brate. Tom Brady retired. They traded away Shaq Mason. The Bucks added Baker Mayfield, quarterback John Wolford is another backup quarterback situation, just in case. You can never have enough, I suppose. Chase Edmonds in the running back room, Ryan Neal in the DB department, and like I said, personal favorite Rodrigo Blankenship. Hopefully, can bring those Legos and a good kicking leg into this squad. Panthers, no real notable drops, I suppose. A lot of people were kind of taken care of the year prior. I guess DJ Moore was the big one being traded away in this number one overall package deal to the Bears. I guess that's a pretty big one of note, actually, just thinking off the top of my head. Adding Adam Thielen, adding Miles Sanders, as well as Hayden Hurst, and the Red Rocket himself, Andy Dalton, just trying to back up or maybe take the job away from Bryce Young being the 1-1 overall pick from this year. Saints added Kiki Cutie and Lynn Bowden Jr.,
Sure.
Kentucky favorite, or actually they released him, excuse me, releasing Kiki Cutie and Kentucky favorite. Sorry about this one, Troy. Lynn Bowden
No.
Jr., converted running back to wide receiver. They added Derek Carr, Foster Moreau, and tight end Jesse James, tight end as well, Foster Moreau. And just today, adding another tight end for 1 year, Jimmy Graham. I want to get your thoughts on Jimmy Graham being added to the squad. Wasn't he just
Wasn't he
coming out of the
retired?
I thought
Huh?
exactly that. Wasn't he in like the analyst booth? Wasn't he doing commentary? I feel like that's crazy. He's coming back, he's staying in shape. What a dog! He just said, "Don't give me that one a day contract that I can just retire for and say I was a Saint from one last time." No, he wants the full contract. He wants to earn his money. So, oh man, maybe some over unders on Jimmy Graham's touchdowns this year. We'll we'll
Yeah, I
see.
wonder.
That's gonna be fun.
Hmm.
Maybe betting on him for an anytime touchdown. He's gonna be some big plus money. That was
Oh, he'll
fun.
be winning. He'll be getting touchdowns left and right.
Without a doubt. Finally,
Yeah.
Falcons releasing Marcus Mariota as well as Casey Hayward Jr.,
Wow.
adding Taylor Heineke just in a backup QB role, Calais Campbell, Bud Dupree, and of course drafting Bijan Robinson 8th overall. Seemed like a pretty solid add and drop list for this NFC South. Notable games that maybe I got to or maybe I didn't. Both the Saints and the Panthers, both the Saints and the Panthers games, because they're going to be both Andy Dalton revenge games, whether you like it or not. They're going to be there. Obviously, Andy Dalton just recently on the Saints.
What?
Maybe gets a snap. Panthers Bears later on in the year, team that
Oh, that'll
traded
be
the number
cool.
one overall pick versus the number one overall pick. So I feel like that's pretty solid. Also in the Panthers realm, like I mentioned earlier, didn't write this down in the notes. Panthers versus Vikings, Adam Thielen revenge game. Saints Texans, Foster Moreau revenge game.
Huh.
Both Panthers and Falcons games for the reason that this honestly, all joking aside, like I've been throwing all these revenge games in, this Panthers Falcons series might decide the division. They're exciting. They're very young offenses, and again, can they live up to the hype, both in Bijan Robinson's sense and in it's slipping the name, even though Bryce Young is right in front of me, but I can't say the
Hmm.
name. Finally, Falcons and Jags. This is one of the international games, one of the London games that the Jaguars will have. So just figured when it's one of those games you gotta wake up at the crack of dawn, Falcons Jags across the pond. That would be pretty fun to watch.
Oh yeah. Those are always cool.
Oh, without a doubt. Got some MVP odds in front of me. You can tell me if these are good to go or if they're just a
Uh
donation. I'm
donation.
donate
Anybody in this division is a donation.
for the sake of just saying numbers. We got Derek Carr plus 5,000, and then everybody else is plus 15,000 and up in Desmond Ritter, Bryce Young, Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask, and Andy Dalton at plus 20,000. So, as we always say, gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a problem. Finally, getting, like I said, getting to our, more or less the gambling side of this preview. Got the team totals. I want to get your prediction. I got what I saw the lines were at, and you can see maybe if they differ from what you were reading it on. We can start. What team would you like to start with? Bucks, Panthers, Saints, or Falcons?
Um, You go ahead because I wasn't able to find the win totals on my app. So
Okay. All
you go
right.
ahead, just go from
Yeah,
whatever you
the one
think.
I've been looking at gives you a couple options. You kind of just more or less have to choose what might be the right correct line. But I'm gonna go with the Bucks. This might be like this is one of the ones I spoiled earlier. I don't think they're gonna even get to their win total. The respective line that I saw was 6.5 games. I'm only counting 5 games. Like I said, pretty rough start. Pretty rough start. And you can give a couple heads or tails, flip of the coin to maybe some divisional matchups, but I'm not very optimistic on this season, even though they have some of the options that they do. But Mike Evans is a little bit older, Chris Godwin's a little bit older, and they can only go as far as the quarterback that's in front of them. This ain't Tom Brady. This is Baker Mayfield, and unfortunately, might even be Kyle Trask after him. So personally, only counting 5 as of right now. That would be under 6.5 at minus 140. If you want a little bit of juice on the DraftKings, I was just more like I said, just being transparent. I was on DraftKings under 5.5 right now. If you want to roll with my 5, might be a little clinching butthole, might be a little bit of that, but take some juice plus 120 at under 5.5 games. Like I said, this team has no ID. They have no identification, not really knowing who they are. Besides the wide receiver core, that's like I said, a tad bit older. Rashard White might get his, and he might be very good, but that's kind of where the talent stops. So that's where I got on the Bucks. What are you feeling on this squad? Under 6.5, maybe even under 5.5. What are you thinking? Or
Yeah,
over?
under.
Hitting the
And
under.
yeah, I'd be under 5.5. That's nice. I like the plus money. So
And not like I said, you're only really giving the leg up against the Texans and the Colts, and maybe stealing one within the division a couple of games or two. But I'm not very optimistic at all on this Buccaneers squad. Like I said, they can maybe get somebody at home really early in the season, kind of like how the Bears did last season with San Fran, but it's not going to be a rainy monsoon down in Florida. It could be, but it gets nuts. I don't think this team is all cracked up to be talented. I think the line
no.
is appropriately placed at 6.5 or 5.5. I can just go down the line. I can hit the Panthers line right there if
Yeah.
you're good. Panthers line again, more or less, kind of do some sniffing. I see 7.5. Uh, Now my mind with this comes in is simply saying that Bryce Young isn't gonna live up to the big hype. I don't think he's gonna wow us right away. He's gonna be good, but I don't think it's gonna translate into wins right away. So I counted 6. Like I said, I like the idea, and it could completely be wrong. So I'm not gonna poo poo it. That's why I also like maybe sprinkle them to win the division at plus 400. That's not the worst right there. Like I said, we'll get to that in a little bit. But I'll go under 7.5, counting 6 games. Uh, I count 6 wins for them. Under is at plus 100, with the mindset again that Young hasn't done anything yet. It could make sense that Matt Corral or Andy Dalton is still at the front of the helm right there. So I don't know. There's a lot of factors. It's kind of hard to tell, and I wouldn't be completely upset if this ends up being wrong. I think the Panthers could probably end up being okay and maybe even sneak the division. That's just me. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was looking at their schedule and I don't know. It seems like I like the under too.
A lot of toss ups that can go either which way, but again, same thing. Like the NFL's crazy. You can catch somebody on the wrong time. The travel can be right or just right for
Yeah.
your team and just wrong for the other team. It's like the New York Giants last year, like their hotel water wasn't working.
Yeah.
So something like that can happen. Just a bunch of factors that can come in. So like I said, I could be on the wrong side. I'm counting 6 wins the way that I am, just based on what I see right now, what I've seen in the past, and just the overall odds and everything. I'm counting 6 wins. Could be wrong.
I'd count 7, but that's
Count,
still the
yeah,
under, so
yeah, exactly. Uh, let's see. Saints. I got the line I see is at 9.5. This might be a butthole clincher. I see 9 wins, so I'll hit the under at minus
Can
125.
we bet the under on all of these teams? Is that possible?
It is possible you can maybe put together a parlay. However, spoiler, I got one for the Falcons. Let's see. So I got under minus 125 for the Saints. Just too many close calls, and like I said, I don't completely trust Derek Carr. He's
10
gonna get a
wins
lot
is
of
a lot of wins.
10. Yeah, I think 9 wins will decide the division again once they get right around there because it's gonna be a very lacking division. It's gonna be very stinky. But I don't see the Saints being the front runner, being the favorite. It's kind of tough. Any thoughts on the Saints? Like I said, am I being too harsh on Derek Carr? Has he proven enough? I don't think he has.
I don't. Yeah, I mean he's a
He's
proven
probably the best quarterback in this division. Don't get me wrong, but in the sense that like he's got some stats, but he doesn't have any winning football to back him up in any sort of sense.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely the most experienced, but yeah, I don't think he's really gotten it done when it matters.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah. Finally, wrapping it up with the Falcons. 8.5 seems to be the line, and this is where I counter your unders parlay. I see over at minus 120. Got them splitting with each of the team. Even if they split with each of the team of the division, if not going 4-2, I still see a potential 9 wins before even the last 2 games of the season, and the last 2 of the games of the season are against the Bears and the Saints. So call
Wow.
me crazy. I think this Falcons team might turn it up. The defense might not be there exactly, but their offense might be good enough to actually keep up. Just again, a sense of maybe is Desmond Ridder the guy, but if that's not the case, I believe and trust in Taylor Heineke. Honestly, Taylor Heineke's not the worst backup to have on your
No.
squad. He might be the next coming of Ryan Fitzpatrick, if I'm not mistaken. He learned from him. He can be just as good, just as mobile as Taylor Heineke, and he's got the same swag with the shoes. And he had Ryan Fitzpatrick at the open chest hair and the chains. Why not? Why not? So that's a long way of saying Falcons over at 9 wins. That's like I said, I count 9 wins. They can get even 11 wins with depending on how you see the Bears and the Saints. I personally see the
So
Bears
they win
beat the
the
Falcons.
division.
I might have them to
So
win
at
the
that point, you
division.
should bet them to win division, right?
That's where it leads to. Division winners: Saints plus 120, Falcons plus 215, Panthers plus 400, Bucks plus 800. I had the toss up between the Falcons and the Panthers. I would go with the Falcons as the correct answer, and then if you wanted to sprinkle a little bit of the Panthers because they might be in the rearview mirror. Again, if the Bryce Young, if you want to call it an experiment, the taking Bryce Young 1-1 overall, and he pans out to be what he's supposed to be, being the Alabama guy, even being as short as he is, he pans out to be the talent that he expects to be. That could work, and that could be just enough to win this sad sack of a division.
Hmm.
So, if you maybe off of those odds, maybe on some different odds, who do you think is going to win this division? What would you sprinkle your cash on responsibly?
Bucks.
What? For the plus
I would
800?
take a long shot if I was just gonna. I would take a long shot on the Bucks. They still got Mike Evans. They still got Chris Godwin. Their defense might not be the best, but who knows? The division's so bad that maybe Baker Mayfield turns it up and goes insane this season, and they are just like the best team in the division. So they're plus 800. I might hoop. I mean, fuck it. There's such a shit division. I mean, anything can happen.
I'm not. I had that same mentality where this division is bad enough that even a plus 800 ticket isn't the craziest thing that you could show up in front of me. I won't advise it to everyone because for
Yeah,
the
I've
same sense that we were going through, or if we were going through the division and we couldn't get them a win even through week 8. It's kind of tough to
I
turn
probably
that
won't
around.
actually do that, but if for some reason I was, I feel like that's some pretty good value for such a shit division. I don't know.
Baker Mayfield prove us wrong. That's all we got. That's all I got on that one.
If you're a Bucks fan, take it.
Yeah, you definitely ruin. You definitely spend money on something stupider. I'm sure. I'm sure. Uh, let's see. There's a couple more props I got written down, and maybe you can tell me if you would partake in these, or maybe you got some yourself. I'm not entirely sure. Uh, with the Buccaneers, nothing too crazy on this, other than I'm personally I like Rashad White. Helped me out on the fantasy side last year. So Rashad White over 4.5 rushing touchdowns at -110. Didn't start most of last season and basically was able to get right around that usage. Being a running RB1 on the squad should change that and should give him way more opportunities, especially in the red zone. Even with, I guess, Chase Edmonds could come in and vulture,
Is that
but
for the whole season?
yeah, over 4.5 touchdowns
The
for.
fuck
I
is
mean, yeah,
that?
yeah, it's a good
What are
enough
they
shot.
thinking?
I mean, he's probably gonna be, like I said, he should be RB1, and he's definitely he plays, he can catch,
How
he
the
can
fuck
rush
is he not gonna score 5 touchdowns an entire season? That seems ridiculous.
at -110. Seems like a pretty fun future. That's why, like I said, pretty
He
good
could
prop
score
to
like
have.
two in one game, maybe. Like it's like
Exactly. The
that's
Buccaneers the
crazy.
offense just needs to get down there. They need to get there. That might be just the mentality. It's gonna if the Buccaneers are winning or in the red zone, it's not because they're rushing down the field. It's probably because they're
Everyone's sleeping on the Bucks right now, rightfully so, but
yeah,
that's why it's a chance to maybe bet on them. It's a
exactly.
shot in the dark. Who
Yeah.
knows if they might be good? Who knows?
Exactly. Absolutely. That's where I got this. Like I said, Rashard White over 4.5 rushing touchdowns at -110 is what I'm going with. Panthers side of props. Let me see. I think I have two. Or no, it might just be this one. Similar to this one. Over 6.5 rushing TDs for Miles Sanders at -115. Again, splitting it with Chuba Hubbard, but I think he should be more or less the red zone guy. He had 11 last year in a, again, much better Eagles offense last season, but you know, the red zone option, like it should most likely go to Miles Sanders. Chuba Hubbard might be on the outside looking in, might get a couple vulture opportunities, but Miles Sanders is good enough to also break off a tackle and go get one deep for like 20 or 30 yards. So
Oof.
he had multiple times, like I said, 11 touchdowns last year, multiple games with multiple touchdowns last year. So pretty solid option right there again at 6.5 rushing touchdowns for Miles Sanders.
Hmm. That's
Saints,
pretty good too. I mean,
yeah.
fuck.
Saints, I think I have two, and they're both on the Chris Olave side. Chris Olave to have a 150-yard receiving game at +100. He was 3 yards short at 147 yards in week 16. Again, so he just needs one game in 17 games. He can have 150 yards. I think it's possible. +100, just something to throw something out on it, and maybe hey, cashes in week 4, week 5, week 6. Just be something nice. And
Hmm.
then another one for Chris Olave, kind of a big stand on him this year. Over 1,050.5 receiving yards for Chris Olave at -105. Concussion set him back at least a game and a half. He was taken out midway through a game and then didn't play the week after. And he finished with 1,042 yards and 4
Wow.
touchdowns last year. Seems pretty solid. Seems like he was number one, and that was with Andy Dalton at the helm. If we're just going, like I said, if Derek Carr is better, and I think he is, and he'll be
Yeah.
throwing upwards of 4,000. I would think at least 4,000 passing yards, 4,500 passing yards from Derek Carr on a good year. I think he's gonna definitely get 1,000 yards, 1,000 or 100, at least 1,100 yards to Chris Olave is what I'm thinking.
Ooh.
So kind of going, like I said, hopefully the kid can stay healthy. That's where my futures would be on for the Saints. Finally, in a similar prop field is this, kind of leaning on the Drake London side. Drake London to record 75 receiving yards in 8 games or more. Kind of tough. However, He did record 75 yards or more in 6 games last year. With again with the idea that he'll improve sophomore year in the same offensive scheme, only just boost those numbers up and then the overall numbers up. So 75 yards in 8 games. He did it 6 times last year. I think that's pretty good to sit on at plus 110. And then another one similar to the Chris Olave one, for him to record a 150-yard game receiving, to record 150 receiving yards in a game at plus 200. He was close in game 1 with 120, and I would think again with him more or less being the number one option, yeah, kind of a toss up between him and Kyle Pitts, but I think Drake London is the for sure number one receiver at that time. So those are my props. You like them, follow them. If not, bet responsibly else on something else. Not that big of a deal. It's not that crazy. NFC South, and like I said, your prediction, you're gonna run on the reins of plus 800 the Buccaneers. I
I
think
was
I'll
I was completely saying they're under earlier, but it's just a shot in the dark thing.
fuck it. I mean,
I
that's what.
don't think it will actually happen, but
Yeah,
that's
dude. Why
fuck
not?
it.
We just, yeah. I'm gonna go final answer. It's a very big toss up. I'm not gonna go with the second. I'm not gonna go with the favorite. I go with the second favorite. I will go with the Atlanta Falcons. I think that high action, explosive young offense will make a big stage in this, at least in the division. I think it's gonna be a big deal to go 4-2 in the division. It'd be exciting to watch Bryce Young, and like I said, very exciting to watch them and the Bears in very pretty early on in the season, if I'm not mistaken. The first overall pick versus the team that traded away what could have been. Also a DJ Moore revenge game. Revenge.
He'll
That was
score
the
another.
NFC South preview. All good on that one, my doggy.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty. Let me see. Let me go ahead and get rid of the NFC South so we can spin the wheel and determine what division we'll be talking about next. Already talked about 2 NFC divisions, so the odds are in favor of talking about an AFC team. Let's spin the wheel and decide what are we going to be talking about next week. Let's see. As the wheel spins, it'll go on for about 10 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. About time we talk about an AFC side, the AFC East. Hopefully it'll come in. You can actually see
AFC
the
East.
AFC East is what we'll be talking about. So
Jets, we gotta talk about Aaron Rodgers.
talking Rodgers and the
Josh
Jets,
Allen.
talking Josh Allen and the Bills, talking Tua and the Dolphins, and we'll be talking about Mac Jones and those
That's a
Patriots.
good one.
Yeah. And honestly, a good segue into maybe it was rumored news, maybe confirmed. I heard it was confirmed on the radio earlier this morning that they had the next set of quarterbacks for the show quarterbacks. And it was 2 out of the 3 in that division. It was Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and Daniel Jones playing the part of Marcus Mariota this season.
Yeah.
So again, you heard rumored, I heard it was confirmed. Kind of flip. I'll stay on the side of just it being rumored as of right now. But those 3 names, how are you feeling on that? Yeah, I know you got
I
your boy
love
right
it.
there. You got your boy right there in Aaron
That
Rodgers.
that's all I wanted to hear. Yeah, I mean, when I heard Aaron Rodgers is going to be in it, it makes sense because they're already going to have like my brother was saying, they're already going to have the hard knock cameras and stuff around for the Jets this season. So Aaron Rodgers can easily just do that also if he wanted to. But
Yeah, the only thing I think they might just I don't think it'll overlap just because I would think as it has the NFL quarterback show just been regular season. That's at least the first 2 episodes. That's
I
how
thought they were showing some clips from maybe maybe just some clips from like off season or
yeah.
something,
So
but
it seems
it's really
primarily they
just
come in,
this
just for
season, yeah.
they come in during the regular season. So like I said, that's been pretty fun to watch. I haven't finished the
And that's
season just
probably why
yet.
Justin Fields declined because he doesn't want to be interviewed after all his shitty games he had this
Oh,
year.
don't get
So,
started on that. I think it's just another distraction. I'll be on the
yeah, I
side of
know.
Justin
I
Fields.
know.
I'm okay with him declining on it. Like I said, it'd be on the side of the Bears already weren't fans of doing the Hard Knocks. I was okay with it because, like I said, it got really nothing to lose in the sense that it's just preseason and kind of.
Obviously, as a Bears fan, you would have enjoyed seeing him on there.
Oh
But
yeah,
if he doesn't want to do it, then that's cool. If he does,
if
that's
he
fuck
feels that
it.
that's a problem, then that's a problem. That's fine with me. Like I said, I felt I was spin zoned it back when I was like halfway excited. Like, yeah, give it to the Bears because it can almost be like a getting through the dog days of the preseason. But I can also understand his sense where he's just like, I just want to be focused on football. And if I feel as though to some it's a distraction, to some it's not, that's fine. To each their own. I mean, like I said, that's just me trying to be on my guy's side. That's just that's
No,
it.
yeah, like you said, to each their own, man.
Yeah.
If he thinks it's gonna affect him in any way, then fuck it.
Yeah, and like I said, in this world where everything is just if you're on a media camera, it's going to be turned into a meme, especially if you do bad in any sort of anyone's going to point at any downfall in any sort of way, and it's going to still be tough for the Bears. As much hope as I want for the Bears to improve and go from a 3-win team to a 10-win team, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a long season and a ton of new faces. It's not gonna flip all in one go. So, it might help. It might be, all the glitters is not gold. Might be the same sense on the Jets side. We'll be optimistic and hope for some sense. But it's a lot of guys that have already worked together. And yeah, it's just a defense that's been there. So a lot of people are thinking the Jets might actually take the division, but we'll get into that next
Wow.
week. Still plugging away, still plugging and chugging. Like I said, that was pretty good on the rumor side of quarterbacks and other Netflix shows. Hopefully, what it would be like 2 or 3 weeks from now, Hard Knocks finally previewing because I know the Hall of Fame game is coming up in a week. Browns and Jets. I gotta turn that down now that I had it going for the wheel. Now I had it also going crazy. A bunch of people just got re-signed. Justin Herbert extended 5 years for some crazy odd money. Also, when we talk about Jaylen Brown making $60 million when we talk about NBA. Melvin Gordon got a new deal. He's on the Ravens. Big deal, no deal, little deal. Anything on that one?
I'm sorry, I was looking at the notifications. What did you say?
No, I said Melvin Gordon to the Ravens, adding to that running back room. Pretty solid room right there. Big deal, no deal, little deal for Melvin Gordon or just anyone, honestly.
Yeah, I mean I'm glad that he's on a team because a lot of running backs aren't. So
Yeah, exactly. So I guess that also comes into, Saquon signing 1 year, 11 million. Is he a scab? Is he, they had this big running back meeting on Zoom.
nothing was accomplished.
Nothing was
They all were
accomplished.
just like, "Yo, we're fucked."
The only one that's still holding out is Josh Jacobs. He did not show up to camp today.
And then as day after they have that meeting, Barkley signs a contract.
Yeah. So I can see a couple reasons. I mean, there was a point brought up like right today earlier. I just it wasn't going to be beneficial to really anybody. Obviously, it was going to hurt Saquon to stay, and then this somewhat gets around like, oh, I'm not signing the tag, I'm signing a deal, and they got now, the Giants got their guy back.
He got a decent amount of money, I'll say.
Yeah,
11 million for 1 year isn't bad, but they
that's
can cook him
awesome.
again next year and
It's not
franchise tag him.
776 million a year, but it's still pretty good money. It's still pretty good money.
Now they could
uh,
franchise tag him again after the season if they want and just completely cook him all over again. So,
yeah,
I mean,
that was
there's
also
no
the.
longevity for them.
It's a shame. It's a shame. So I guess everyone was just under the impression like, hey, just while we all wanted to rah come together, more or less everyone just looked out for themselves and got what they could from this whole entire deal, and as they rightfully should, because I guess in that same sort of sense, like all the starters that were in that meeting, the backups weren't in that meeting. They were like, hey man, do what you got to do, go get your money. But then they were also in the back of their mind where they're like, if they hold out, I can be the starter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing and go be the starter. So, like I said, keep gaslighting, be like, yeah, man, Go do what you got to do. Stand up to the man. Do what you got to do. And then he's going to be sitting back at practice and be like, oh, I'm taking #1 reps. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to go get my money next year. It's kind of, yeah, like I said, pretty backstabby, pretty crazy if you want to look at it through that lens. But it's good for Saquon. Get your money, dude. Do what you got to do. I'm trying to think. Let me see. Bears reported. Everyone reported for practice. Bears reported. Claypool was off and then on the PUP list. A lot of talk about Claypool. I'm going to be talking on Friday just about really maybe like an optimistic what I should or shouldn't be optimistic, pessimistic about the season. I saw an article today that was shared to me by one of my instructors. So I'll probably end up doing that on Friday. Join me there on twitch.tv/sportstownshy. And then any thought? I mean, again, kind of drawn out. Nothing new here in terms of, I guess, opinion wise on Dan Snyder. We still think he's an ass wipe. Anything to take away from good old Danny boy, the sale, the whole. Did you hear like I don't know, again, maybe the rumored story, the actual, maybe what could have actually happened, and could have actually kind of ties into the Oppenheimer review earlier, where it was just some small little comment that Dan Snyder made to John Harbaugh, or not Harbaugh, Gruden, John Gruden, at like a meeting one day, or a rest, or a meal, that he just like whispered underneath his breath, fat, to John Gruden. And then John Gruden, more or less, his response was, I'm gonna dribble your head off the ground like a basketball. Like I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. And after that, he was like, okay. And then Snyder went back and got all the emails, blackmailed them, under the impression that he was gonna get good with the NFL commissioner,
Goodell.
with Goodell. But then Goodell was like, "Oh, this is just good enough dirt on both of them that he's gonna get fired and he's gonna have to sell the team." So everyone got cooked, everyone got fucked, and I mean, maybe Gruden kind of got cooked a little bit, but kind of the racist emails or whatever. I kind of have to. I don't really remember what it was exactly, what was written down. Snyder's done. I liked the whole Magic Johnson coming in. His sale, or his speech, was like, for the fans, bringing it, more or less giving it back to the fans. He's like, I'm not a part of teams to lose. Like, I'd come in and win. So maybe he got it done with the Dodgers. Even though it was a COVID year, but he's got a championship underneath there. Got the ownership with the Commanders right now. Anything opinion wise with this commander squad? Anything, maybe, like I said, maybe more or less that rumor might have been the the cliff notes of how this all started. What's your reaction to that? Anything on this Dan Snyder situation?
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, seems like a lot for a whole lot of nothing. I mean, like
If that
they
story is true, that's an HBO miniseries right there.
yeah, that's like they went through so much and they all got played. Basically, is what I meant by that. That's
And
insane.
it all comes down to that scene where Dan Snyder's just sitting there, just cutting his fat, and he's like, "What? I'll dribble your head off the concrete." And
That's
just
what he said to him
that was the
exactly.
alleged response into that little comment.
I
I'll
thought
beat
you
you
were
up.
just saying that.
No,
I
that
didn't
was
think.
the legit alleged response. Is I will dribble your head off the concrete. That's such a wild thing to say to
Yeah.
somebody. Such an alpha. Oh my
Oh
god.
my God, this is ridiculous.
And like I
I
said, he
mean,
thought he was going to get in good graces. He ends up getting cooked. Whatever. He's a dude. He's an absolute dirtbag. We'll never be Team Dan
yeah.
Snyder. Get those facilities figured out. Those people shouldn't be sitting in fucking shit water getting sprayed on them.
Yeah, all game long. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're horrible people. So fuck them. They're out, and now new management will take over and bring life back to the Commanders fan base.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they're gonna have to get most likely another name change, which is kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
they said they were probably going to do that after this season. So
Yeah. Makes sense. Get a nice start fresh. Get it all off you. Get all the stank off you. Finally in the NFL realm, Vikings rookie wide receiver did his best impression of Henry Ruggs,
Oh,
going like 120, 140. Fortunately, didn't kill anybody, but just still crazy, reckless. I'm sure he's gonna have to deal with that for some time, and that'll just be something that he gets tagged with every now and again, and that'll just be brought up from here and now. So,
he had
simply
a
put,
good
just
reason.
what he had a good reason.
Yeah.
The wide receiver.
Uh-huh.
What he do? What?
He said it was a dog emergency.
It was a dog emergency. Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm a dog
I
guy.
feel for it because I'm a dog guy, but yeah, you should not be driving that fast still.
And again, you gotta you gotta prove that, and you can't. That's so reckless. That's so crazy. At a point, it's just like it's not a dog situation. If you're going 140 and you kill yourself, that's a person situation.
Oh,
So yeah, that's gnarly. That's crazy. I did not know that. That was what he said. Again, that's kind of your PR team should have said anything else. Maybe I don't know.
yeah.
That's a tough look. Oh yeah, just again, just be the moral of the story. Be safe. Always be safe. These athletes driving around, riding around, going so fast. Again, do I have to keep tying it to Oppenheimer? He's like, you're too important. Maybe ride by train. I don't know. That's what
Hmm.
he kept doing. Couldn't go by plane, ride by train. Let's see. If you're good on that was basically all I had for NFL. I'm sure there was tons more that, like I said, just people getting their money. How do you feel on anything? Any thoughts, news, notes on Justin Herbert getting paid?
Good for him. He deserves it.
Yeah, I think so. I might have to prove it a little bit this year. Let me see. $262.5 million extension with the
Phew,
Chargers, 5 years. Yeah, just
they
more things
got
from Adam
their guy.
Schefter. That is, in fact, that is true. They very much have their guy. And like I said earlier, Claypool off pup list just 3 minutes ago. But I mean, this was earlier in the day. Chase Claypool cleared to start practice when training camps open Wednesday. More NFL training camp if I tapped on the button, but I'm not going to do that. So that was basically that. That was all of our NFL. We got some Chicago section. Uh, First pitch was about 10 minutes ago in this Cubs White Sox series. I'll just be straight honest with you. I kind of more or less forgot about it because I've kind of checked out on this White Sox season. There's nothing. There are going to be sellers. I've already previewed this, said this many a times. They're selling everybody as they should. I've already said who they should keep up on, but most likely not going to happen. Uh, if you're a White Sox fan, should be nothing really of interest. Just make sure that the trade bait, all the guys that we feel like should be traded, don't get hurt. And for the Cubs, if you're a Cub fan, you have some sort of hope. You have a little bit of hope. You're behind both the Reds and the Brewers about 7 games. So you see 7, but there's 2 teams. So mathematically it's kind of dumb, but it makes sense that you kind of have to multiply. You're more or less 14 games back because you kind of have to bank on 2 teams being so bad that they both lose a bunch of games. I'm not going to get into it. You're 14 games back, even though you're 7 games back. This is still a big series for the Cubs, but if you lose them, this might be what kind of sets off if you're buyers or sellers at the deadline because Marcus Stroman, Bellinger, people are going to want Bellinger. A lot of people, the Yankees have been rumored to want Bellinger. A lot of teams probably want Bellinger, who's had pretty solid season so far. So I'll throw it to you. Just again, you're more. I know Sox side of this crosstown classic for you. Are you feeling? Do you have any sort of emotion, anything to this? Is it even bragging rights? Do you even care?
I don't care at all. I mean,
I want
we'll
the season to be
see.
over so bad. God, I hate it. Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
hate it
been
so much.
horrible.
There's so much hope, and there's so much just exactly that, and just poor performances, underperforming injuries, and it happens to everyone. But it hit the White Sox pretty fucking hard this year. Tim Anderson doesn't have a home run in a full calendar year. Lucas Giolito was underperforming. Now he's performing good enough to get traded, which is going to piss me off. He's probably going to go. Lance Lynn probably should go. Uh, I would hope they keep Robert. I would hope they keep Cease. I would hope they keep Vaughn and Berger in my mind. Maybe Eloy, but that's being hopeful. If you're really, I heard this today and I like the idea, and I don't like the idea, but this is going to determine if the White Sox trade Dylan Cease, that determines whether this is just a rebuild or a retool. If they trade Dylan Cease full on, rip it down, strip it down, rebuild. And it shouldn't just be the White Sox roster. It should be everyone in the front office as well. Kenny Williams, unfortunately, has to go. At this point, even Reinsdorf, you gotta just give it to the kiddo. Move out, Jerry. Sorry, you're done. It's time to move on. Everybody else, you're done too. Just get out.
Hmm.
So it's been a tough year for the White Sox fans, everyone paying attention. Not a fan. It's been like I said, I would have loved to participated, but I went with my Bears shirt because Bears practice starting up soon. So and the White Sox make me want to drink until I black out. That's basically the moral of that story. So
Makes
I'll still
sense.
tune in, bottom one. I don't think the White Sox have scored. Nobody on, one out. So we'll probably be finishing up. We can probably get to I don't know, hopefully the third or fourth inning by the time we get done with the rest of these notes.
It's to the point where we're numb to the White Sox. Like the Twins game the other day, they're up 4-0 the whole game, and then they
Yeah.
lose in
Yeah.
extras. I was just like, oh, makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, of
I
course
just felt bad for Giolito because he pitched an absolute gem and he got a no decision because like I said, the bullpen blew it. Yeah,
must know.
good for his stats to, like I said, to more or less get traded most likely to the Dodgers or the Diamondbacks.
Wow.
Yeah. But sticking here in Chicago is Dosunmu on the Bulls. I guess maybe one thing that Jerry Reinsdorf is doing. However, he did just re-sign the entire squad, thinking a different outcome is going to happen. I don't think that's going to be the case, but pretty cheap option for an okay talent and a guy that you still time to mature. I think he's only 20, 21 years old, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
He's very
he's
young.
young.
Dosunmu re-signs with the Bulls, 3 years, $21 million. I like it.
7 mil a year, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty solid for who. I mean, I think a potential starter. I think there's starting effort in there. He's not the best scorer, not the best bull that we have on the team, but he can mature into his body. He can get bigger, hit the weight room, and the talent will still be there and still come. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for I would assume we'll get what we can in these 3 years, and hopefully, if he goes crazy and goes off and he earns a better deal, I would love that. If not, all power to him. We had a good time with him, so I think he's better than Kobe White. I was glad that we got this deal done. Still upset that we have the guys that we do on the squad. There's still no news, no rumors, even on the Zach LaVine trade anymore. So
Yeah, nothing changes. We don't make playoffs and we lose, but
yeah,
maybe we'll have our fun moments here and there.
yeah. I'm still on the side of it's going to even be tough to get into a play-in game at this point. I know the East is still pretty rough. It's not the West Coast in any sort of sense. With a ton of talent still between the Lakers, Golden State Warriors, Phoenix Suns.
Sacramento, no.
Yeah, yeah, definitely up there. Yeah, a little lackluster, but I can't sit here and tell you that the Bulls are better than 5 other teams in the East. It's pretty hard to say that.
They
So I
aren't.
think the Pistons are going to be a little bit better this year. I think the Pacers are going to be a little bit better this year. And the Wizards are basically the same as the Bulls. So I can't, again, better than the Hornets, yeah, probably in the long term. But yeah, I can't confidently sit here and tell you that the Bulls are better than 5 other teams in this East. Maybe a little pessimistic. I don't know. Were you good on basically, like I said, the Chicago section covering a little bit of NBA, MLB right there? All good right there before we hit
Yeah,
this wrestling and wrap this bad boy up.
yeah, that was all good.
Awesome possum. Let's see. We can start off with the quick ones. Quick little fire away. All in, all in will be, of course, across the pond in the UK, and they're sticking with the UK time. So if you're in the central time zone, be prepared to wake up, just not on the grease ball side of things. Get ready. 12 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, All In will air in the States at that time. Like I said, it's pretty normal. The WWE premier live events happen at that time. All the UFC events do around the same thing, so might as well follow suit. And 12 p.m. Central, not the worst. I can definitely scrounge together and we can all meet up around that time. I got no problem with that if you don't.
Oh, oh,
What's up?
um,
Uh-oh. You having
hmm.
connection troubles, my guy? Oh, gee whiz. I mean, it might be good on I'm good on my side, but that's okay. I can probably just wrap this one up a little bit. So yeah, 12 p.m. Central for All In. This is what it's looking like. So that ought to be fun. Like I said, I'll probably be checking in with the boys. We'll be getting that all done. Uh, let's see. Are we back?
Huh.
There you go. Sorry. I don't know if anything happened on your end. I was all good on my side. I just wanted to flip to you and just say, is 12 p.m. Agreeable with you? Are you going to be awake up for that time?
Yeah, it's like a 12 o'clock football game on
Oh
Sunday.
yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely. Get you right in the swing of things. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, there'll probably will be some football games going on at the same time. Or well, no, yeah,
Is it on
September,
Sunday?
no, September 6th or 7th. I don't know. So September is the regular season. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
that's right. It's in August.
yeah. I flipped it up. Well, maybe a preseason game. Either way, that ought to be pretty good to get through. Uh, Picking away at the other quick ones right here. First match for, I mean, I heard All Out, but I could be wrong. So a toss up between either All In or All Out's first confirmed match being Darby Allin versus Luchasaurus for the TNT title. Big deal, no deal, little deal. I'll just kind of throw that one up to you. I think it'll be a decent little match. Like I said, maybe Darby Allin's fourth attempt at getting the TNT title, or I mean, in actually capturing it. Uh,
Yeah.
Decent little matchup, and I love this storyline where Christian Cage thinks he's the TNT title, or they're sharing it with Luchasaurus. It's kind of what we kind of predicted, where Luchasaurus is never even going to touch that title, or if he does, that's when he turns on Christian Cage. Uh, what do you think on that so far between Darby Allin or just this Christian Cage storyline as well?
Yeah, I like the Christian Cage stuff. And yeah, I mean, it'll be like a David versus Goliath with Darby and Luchasaurus. So, I mean, yeah, that'll be a fun little match right
Yeah,
there.
like a 7, 10, 12 minute matchup during either All Out or All In. Like I said, one of the first matches confirmed for either one, so pretty solid. Uh, Let me go ahead. We can also breeze through these just because we didn't watch it personally and it was on a Friday, kind of weird. Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor results. More or less just going to hit the big ones. I know there was a pretty big 0 hour and a couple other matchups that happen on the card that we most likely won't get to, but just want to hit the high notes. The Fatal 4-Way for the tag titles. Aussie Open, one of half of Aussie Open comes back from his injury, and I can only imagine this match went just as crazy as everyone thought it was supposed to be. Beating Penta and Ray Phoenix for their titles, pretty solid opportunity. And I think that was the only championship that changed hands because Shibata and Daniel Garcia, retained, Claudio and Pac, Claudio retained, and then Samoa Joe and Dalton Castle, Samoa Joe retained, and then Athena and Willow Nightingale, Athena retained. So that kind of covers the entire card right there. Was there anything that you will be backtracking, making sure you go ahead and watch? I know I got a couple for sure that I think I'm going to go ahead and watch.
I bet the tag team match was cool.
Oh yeah,
And
without a doubt.
yeah, I mean Claudio and Neville is probably Pac was probably great too.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I'll definitely. They were very much praising Willow Nightingale and Athena. They seem to have they find a little comfortability spot. They've been working together pretty well on TV, on Ring of Honor, as well as just past 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago on Rampage to finish off the Owen Hart Cup. That's what gave Willa Nightingale this number one opportunity, number one contender opportunity in the first place. And then yeah, I personally I'm a big fan of Dalton Castle. Just basically his promo skills walking down the ring. This flamboyant character that he plays is pretty funny. His work in the ring, and then just Samoa Joe. He's a dog. So that was probably ended up being a pretty decent match as well. So overall, solid night. If you had between Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor and most likely Friday Night SmackDown, if you got to that at all, but I haven't really dabbled in SmackDown in some time. If you're good on that, we can wrap this bad boy up with some blood and guts. 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 Broke down the entire episode on the Friday show, but it was so good. I wanted to get your thoughts, your ideas, everything that went down. It was nuts, from everything, the bed of nails, the tacks that fell from the ceiling. Jesus Christ, just more bed of nails, glass. That one table spot that Pac just drove his fucking legs right through Nick Jackson's chest. Absolutely phenomenal. You know, I said this on the Friday show. I hope I'm not, over desensitized to all the violence. I don't think it'll go down as the craziest match or one of the best matches in AEW. Probably one of the better blood and guts matches, even though there's only been like 2 or 3 of them. There was no crash pad in this one. So I'll give them that as a plus on that side. But yeah, just a lot of crazy gnarly spots. John Moxley bled like a stuffed pig. So pretty good. Just wanted to get your overall thoughts on the match itself, on the night itself. It also featured, of course, another package from Adam Cole and MJF, and we actually got to see the double clothesline from MJF and Adam Cole. So solid night overall. What'd you get from the night overall and the match? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I thought the MJF and Adam Cole stuff was great. It's probably gonna end soon, sadly, but back-to-back homers for the Cubs.
Oh,
I'm
Jesus.
turning the TV off. I'm getting distracted.
I want to ask you, because I brought this up on the Friday show, just to maybe, this is just my opinion. Is this the best thing Adam Cole has done in AEW so far? Because
Yeah.
I mean, it's only been really his his intro run where he was introducing himself as a heel and more and stuff like that. Gets a concussion and later on, and then he has the Jericho run. So it's kind of like there's probably been something in between the Daniel Garcia rebound match or first match back. But this has to be, in my mind, the best thing he's done in AEW. Not the best thing he's done in his career. I still think him in Black and Gold NXT is probably his prime
Yeah,
match.
and his whole career, no, it's not the best thing he's done, but in
But the
AEW,
best thing he's done in AEW
yes.
so far, for sure.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted maybe just at least get on the same point on that one. So yeah,
No,
like
definitely. That's why
continue on your thoughts from Blood and Guts itself.
they should keep it going as long as they can, because they've got it's like they call it like the magic in a bottle. I don't know what the saying is, but
okay, yeah, you got it. No, you got it.
It's everyone loves it right now, and I think they're like the top selling shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees for like 2 weeks straight or something. So
Hell yeah.
everybody loves them, and everyone knows it's gonna not last, but you can keep it going for as long as possible. It will probably end at the Collision when they fight for the titles, but
yeah, because this was the episode, or this was the Adam Cole grabbed the title and looked at it, and he's like, "Oh, I like the title," and MJF was like, "What the hell is that? What are you doing? That's mine." And then they
which
hugged
will
it
lead
out.
to
They hugged it out. But MJF still in the back of his mind, he knows Adam Cole wants that.
So we're gonna get MJF versus Adam Cole at All In, probably.
Yeah, I think that's what it's building to.
Which will be awesome.
Oh, without it, yeah. I love that. That's no problem with
get
me.
Adam Cole back up. Like MJF is honestly helping build Adam Cole back up to his star caliber.
Yes,
awesome.
Very much so. Like I said, that's why I think that this is the best thing that Adam Cole has done, because MJF, everything he touches turns to gold in my mind. I mean, just like I said, that's why I'm such a big fan of him. He's getting the most out of the littlest. Like he got a body slam over. He got, the drop, not the drop to hold, the four. Oh
Yeah.
Jesus,
He did the Tupe Suicida the other night, and like
yeah,
everyone.
a move that everyone does. They probably saw that 10 more times later in that day, but he did it, and they got the biggest pop of all time. I love that he's on his Twitter. He's like, I power bot or yeah, I body slam 650 pound a big
What's it? And the
cast.
other thing you were talking about is the headlock takeover,
There we
right?
go, the
Or
headlock
yeah.
takeover. I couldn't get it wrapped up. Yeah, couldn't get a name on it. He's getting the most out of the littlest bit. So that, yes, exactly why I think MJF is gold, and everything he touches turns to gold, and Adam Cole is doing his best work in AEW. In AEW. So yeah.
And yeah, so other than that, the Blood and Guts was awesome. I mean, Kota Ibushi, I don't know, I didn't feel like he didn't do much in the match. They try to make him feel like such a big deal, but he was there. It's fine.
They gave him
But
that spot where he kind of saved everybody. Everyone was in a submission hold, and he broke out of his, and he blocked everybody, and then he finally got to John Moxley or something, that he was torturing Kenny Omega. I might be flip flopping spots, but either way, he came to Kenny's save, and then he saved everybody at the end too, and shit like that. So
there's the
I get
video
it.
after the match where he was just doing the dive on the thumbtacks too
Yeah,
for
I
no
heard about
reason. I
that.
was like, what the hell,
Yeah, he
man?
likes doing stuff like that. He lit himself on fire. Like there's that one Twitter clip of him lighting fireworks and him like putting it in his mouth and shit like that.
Oh,
He's crazy. He likes to do weird shit like that. So I don't know if it's just him. It's something not some screws loose up top. I don't know, but maybe just like giving the people what they want. People want violence. Like I said, I thought it was a good match, but it took a little bit away from the elite, in the sense that,
they couldn't
Pat,
beat them at all.
yeah, couldn't beat them all. Pac left. Then Takeshita was taken out later by Don Callis's call. So it's not like, oh, you couldn't beat, and they didn't have Danielson in there either. So I'll say that's a bit of a strike in there as well. You didn't beat all the BCC, and you didn't beat everyone that was even included in that match. So that's just me. That's like, oh, looking at it that way, yeah. But that maybe should be the end of this little rivalry, I
Yeah,
suppose. But
that's
good on of course, the good guys, in this sense, the elite should get the win, and that's how the rivalry should end, or something like that. I'm trying to think of any other points. Yeah.
yeah. There was something I was thinking of, but
Yeah, I know the bed of nails, of course. I can't believe that got onto TV. The glass after, the only thing I guess they made, after all these rules being made, you can't bleed in the crowd. You can't use metal chairs. They brought in plastic chairs with a little metal back piece so they can still do headshots, I suppose. That was what we were also thinking. But that, I'm not even sure that was confirmed. But overall, I don't know if you saw, when they did come down and say all these rules, TBS or whatnot, they still complimented Blood and Guts, because it brought in close to 2.5 million views from TV viewership, DVR, streaming, and then playback on something
holy,
else. So yeah, it took a couple of factors. Of course, that's, it's again, a lot of spin zoning. Like, oh, it took that many things to get that many viewers. Like, oh yeah, whatever. It's fucking wrestling, dude. Again, for all those people that worry about viewership numbers and exactly that for ratings, do you work for TBS? Do you work for USA? If you do, good for you. If you're not, stop worrying about the ratings and just watch wrestling and enjoy it. You fucking mark. It's simply that. I don't know why everyone, they're not. If you watch it and enjoy it, then that's it. I don't care if my neighbor down the street's watching it. I don't care. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. So whatever. Piss off if you don't like it. And if you want to just look at the numbers, again, you can spin zone a ton of different ways. Everyone watches not just TV, and then you watch it on playback. I don't know how that factors in. Like, I watch most of these stuff on my DVR, so I don't know how that factors in. Whatever. Just being transparent, just telling you how it is. Whatever. I kind of went off on a different tangent, on a different rant, but where was I even getting at? Just like I said, they were good numbers, 2.5 million viewers on this Blood and Guts, after they just said bunch of blood restrictions and weapons shit. So good for them. To the TD guards, all those Boston fans. I also love at the very beginning. They're like, use this ring, because no one had used the second ring the entire night. Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Hook match was in the first one. The Adam Cole match. I think there was also a women's match in there as well. I completely that one breezed over my head. But yeah, then of course the Blood and Guts match happening. They're like, finally use this ring, and Claudio played up to it. He's like, yeah, you want me to use it? Nah, I'm not using that ring. And he stayed in, and then Kenny threw him into the other ring. So that one was fun. A lot of small stuff like that. So I know, and again, if you also saw Nick Jackson putting on the Shark Week hat, so it was cool. It was a fun match, and continue on with this Blood and Guts. If everyone just it's good. Yeah, it's not just violence for the sake of violence.
It's a good
blew
match.
off. Yeah, there you go. Good one. Won't go down in history. It may as well. Blood and Guts. Check it out. AEW. And I think that's if you're good on everything, if that was about it from everything else, it's about good time to wrap this one up if you were good on that.
Yeah.
Close
I'm
it
all
up.
good, man.
Close it up. Check, please. Thank you for the appetizers today. Nice and chunky, nice and good. Join us next week, episode 29, because we're closing up 28. I don't know what we're going to be talking about. We got the AFC East preview, got the National Sports Convention. I'll be going to that just all throughout this week. I'll be talking on the Friday show, but I will still maybe talking about it on this Tuesday show, just giving you what I did, what I bought, who was there, what went on. Some cool stuff. Like I said, some cool meet and greet opportunities. We'll see what I do. Trying to think anything else. Probably some other big dumps, big media dumps, big news dumps going on. Like I said, the NFL, all the teams are gathering together. So people getting paid. Hopefully people staying healthy. That's what we're going to be doing, but also looking forward to all the other stuff that goes on. It's a good time. It's always a fun time. And then, maybe just being disappointed with the White Sox. That always dampers it.
Yeah.
But fantasy football is right around the corner, too. Leaving you with that. I want to stay off on a high note. Episode 28 in the books. Take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see yous.